You're listening to At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production.
And welcome to this edition of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. This week's guest is one of the hardest workers in the Blaze TV building as the executive producer of The Chad Prather Show. Candice Ortiz is her name, and she's a big David Bowie fan. She wants to learn Yiddish and has recently taken to learning a trick to use at a casino. Also in our conversation today, Candice tells us an interesting story about spending the night at a water park, where ghosts may or may not like to hang out after dark. Get ready for some strange goings-on with Candice Ortiz in this week's edition of At the Mic. I am today joined by someone who I hope is in the process right now of muting her phone, as opposed to playing Fruit Ninja, or whatever you're doing over there. Candice Ortiz, a producer here at The Blaze. You haven't denied that you were playing Fruit Ninja while I was introducing you there, I'd like to point out.
I didn't want to jump you on the introduction.
Okay.
So I was going to let you finish and then go back to the Fruit Ninja thing, because I took offense to that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you?
Never.
It was solitaire. So she produces, stop me if I get anything wrong here, Chad Prather's show here at the Blaze TV family.
Correct.
And we'll get into her past here under this roof, because she used to be a part of a different show. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Anyhow.
It's an open wound still.
Is it?
For all of us.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing.
I like how the prep for this interview, you would print it up very nicely.
Yeah, I email questions, I print them up.
And then filed it away promptly in the trash can, which you had to dig through before we started the conversation.
That's not inaccurate.
Believe me, I know how much this means to you.
Yeah. I was getting ready to hit record here, and I couldn't find your questions. Like, I was looking at them this morning. I was looking at your answers, and
they were pretty, in-depth questions to ask and answer. And so the fact that those answers would just be looming around the office for anyone to see, not a fan.
Sorry, I had to clear off my desk this morning before this very important interview. And I apologize that, yes, the print up of your answers got caught up in the garbage. So you were born in Arizona.
I was.
Whereabouts?
So I was born outside of, Arizona City.
Wait,
I always get it confused.
The town is Arizona City?
Arizona City.
Wow, that's creative.
Yeah, right. They really tried there. But yeah, that's where I was born. That's where all my family kind of still is. My family, my immediate family is the only one who moved outside of Arizona, technically.
Where did they end up?
So we traveled all over. So I've lived in New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Washington State. Wow. And then we landed in Texas. And so
you kind of did the Four Corners region.
I did. I attempted to.
Yeah. But you were in Washington State as well?
Yes. So that was my favorite place to live. I lived in Everett, which happens to also be the home of the one and only Glenn Beck. So we,
very cool.
Everett just produced a lot of great people in the form of Glenn. And then I came out of there too.
Got it. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm busy looking up Arizona City, Arizona.
Yeah.
How many people live there?
Oh, I have no clue.
10,000.
Uh-oh.
There's your answer. 10,000, south of Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. All right. It's nice little entrance there with a couple palm trees at the...
they were kind of like, let's not mess around with names. Let's just get right to the point.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
All right. What was so great about Everett, Washington? So you were born in Arizona City, Arizona. Mm-hmm. How long were you there?
Probably 2 years. Not very long at all.
Oh, so you have a lot of memories there.
I have so many. All the fundamental things were in that city. But I moved pretty much every 3 years.
I was going to say 6 different states.
Yeah.
You're very young now.
Thank you.
And how old are you?
24.
24. So when did you get to Texas?
I got to Texas 10 years ago.
Okay, so 14. Yep. I'm good at math.
Thank you.
So every couple of years. Yeah. Why were you moving so much?
Just my dad's job brought us to a lot of different places. And then, he would continue going to different states as we would stay in them. So when we were in Washington State, he also worked in Boston. Mm-hmm. And then when we were in Texas here, when I was a little bit younger, he also worked in Washington, D.C., Houston, California. So it kept us from having to move even more. But at the same time, we did get to travel a lot and see a lot of the country.
Well, that must have been tough making friends then if you're uprooting yourself and your life every couple of years, right?
I think I was too young to have best friends forever, kind of thing. So that was kind of what made it easy, because moving was always really fun. But I'm glad that when we finally settled in Texas, I was just starting high school. I feel like any more moving after that would have been very difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 14. Okay, yeah. All right. So you loved Everett, Washington. Do you enjoy Texas?
I do love Texas.
Okay.
Texas is my second favorite. And I've been here for 10 years now, so I feel really established. Texas is home to me, so that's really, really nice. But I also liked Salt Lake City, Utah, and... Fun fact, Pat of Pat Gray Unleashed was on the air when I lived in Salt Lake City.
Wow, and you listened to the show all the time?
Yes, I was the brimming age of 3 years old, and I was just captivated.
I got it. All right, and you have an older sister.
I do have an older sister.
How much older?
18 years.
So how did that happen?
We have yet to figure that one out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 18 years, then my parents were like, this one's not working out. Let's try again.
Start over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing like a fresh start. 18 years in.
Congrats to you.
When I was born, my sister was headed off to college.
No kidding.
For
right?
reference. So.
Okay. And speaking of college, you went to both Texas A&M and North Texas University?
I did.
How'd that happen?
It was a long, drawn-out process. I went to Texas A&M to study animation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, do you have artistic abilities where you can draw and whatnot, or is this all computer stuff? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Yes to what?
Artistic abilities.
Wow.
I'd love to learn the computer stuff, but I only lasted a year at Texas A&M.
I was going to say, because wasn't the last animated Disney movie by hand, wasn't that The Little Mermaid?
Correct. I believe so, yeah.
So were you trying to bring back that?
Well, you learn the transition from like paper to computer.
Okay.
Through a major called visualization, and a lot of the people who work at Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios are actually plucked from that program at Texas A&M University.
Oh wow!
And a lot of them actually worked on like Monsters University and Monsters Inc. And so there's a lot of references to Texas A&M in those two films because a majority of the animators were from there.
Huh.
But
I got to go back and watch those again now.
Right? But I didn't last very long.
What happened?
It was just not for me. It was kind of one of those things where you're like, this is not a good fit.
So it wasn't that college wasn't your thing. It was that Texas A&M wasn't.
Right. It was very steeped in tradition. And I feel like everyone around me was like a fifth generation Aggie.
And there's military, right? So
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Right. That's what the foundational
I know they still have some of that. I don't
the Corps of Cadets and everything like that. But everyone around me was like, my great-grandfather went here. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I have no understanding or basis for that. And then I ended up at UNT studying radio, television, and film. And here we are today.
So you went to college to be an animator.
Yes.
But you ended up in radio and TV.
Yes. How far we fall.
No. Okay. Well, that's not where I was going.
I'm kidding.
I wanted to ask you, does part of you still want to pursue the animation?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are you hoping to do? Make cartoons? Make movies?
I'd love to do that. Children's books. Like,
Okay.
I just love that whole aspect of it. And it still fascinates me today, even though I'm doing news production, which is like a completely different part of your brain to utilize, but I still love it just the same.
So would you rather write a children's story or illustrate a children's story?
Probably illustrate a children's story. But there's something in me that I would like doing both, but something more on the illustration side is probably like if I had to pick, if that makes any sense.
Okay. And just between you and me, I won't tell
of course.
Chad Prather whose show you produce. If you could just go into that world of animation right now, as opposed to news and politics and the kind of stuff you have to cover with your job, would you jump ship and do that?
I mean, it's a far-fetched thing, but maybe.
Okay.
I always say if Joe Rogan is looking for another producer, I'm jumping ship fast.
Oh, wow. But that's not animation.
I know. I'm a broad Renaissance woman. There you go.
I appreciate you making a Joe Rogan reference because now I can put Joe Rogan as a keyword into this podcast.
I would have just put Joe Rogan as a keyword anyway.
In any podcast. That's a good point. I should start doing that.
It doesn't matter. You could just put any keywords. No one's going to see your keywords. Those are private.
Yeah, exactly. And his show is always trending around number one.
Number one a measly 20-something million views and downloads. I mean, rig the system, man.
I love this. That's great.
How do you think I got here?
Wait, what? Hard work and perseverance? No?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. So, you grew up, you went to college, you learned radio and TV.
Yes.
Was that a direct path then from North Texas to the Blaze?
Absolutely. So it's funny. I was kind of looking for an internship, and a few years before, when I was too young to get an internship because it just wasn't that point in my college journey, someone was like, oh, Glenn Beck's company moved to Texas, and that would be a spot to intern for. And so I was like, okay, logged that away in my brain. And when it came time to internships, I applied here, got in. It was the second only ever internship class here at the Blaze. And then when I left, I was like, okay, that's a possibility to go back to in the future. And then finished up my degree, and about a month after, got the job at the Blaze.
Wow,
So,
that takes us up to very recently, right?
yeah. No, I'm only about a year and a half out of college.
Right.
So full of youthful ignorance.
Yeah, because you actually came on board with Pat Gray Unleashed.
I did.
The show that I produce. And you did a great job with us.
Thank you. That was a fun show. I kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I wake up like at 3 a.m. still.
And you're like, wait, I'm supposed to be somewhere.
And I'm like, oh, the adrenaline and pure like pandemonium right before the 6 o'clock hour.
I was going to say, so you look at the clock, it's 3 a.m., you think, oh, I missed that, but boy, I'm about to get several more hours of sleep.
Right?
And then you quickly realize, oh, you know what? It's not so bad. Getting back, cutting the Z's.
Getting some sleep.
So, and I told you at the time, that somebody in this building is going to pluck you off of that show.
You predicted the future in
Sooner
the form of a
and I do that a lot.
walking cowboy hat.
Walking Chad Prather comes along. And I mean, the writing was on the wall, obviously, from the beginning, that you were going to be whisked away. I hope are you having fun down there at least?
I have a lot of fun down there. But I have to say, sometimes I've filled in a couple times since I've left the Pat Gray show. And I have to say, every single time when I come in at that time and I get to be a part of the show again, it's still so much fun. And to be honest, I miss it. I do.
It's crazy. It's chaotic right up till the theme music starts.
There was one morning, I remember, I ended up directing
Oh, gosh.
the Pat Gray Unleashed show.
Let me guess. Was that a morning that one Martin Garcia slept in?
It was. I
overslept?
have never been so terrified in my life. I've never directed a show before, ever. And about 10 minutes before showtime, we realized Martin's not here. And it goes into just like emergency mode. And before I knew it, I was like ramping up, like talking to the people who do the records for us.
In Connecticut.
And getting ready to direct the show.
And poor Rob
was on the audio board.
Moved to the audio board because Martin wasn't here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see Martin from where I'm sitting right now. Martin runs the technical audio portion of the Pat Gray Unleashed program. And he is currently oblivious through the glass that we are saying all of this about him. But yeah, he puts us in that position on occasion.
It was probably one of the most fun mornings I had ever had. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. The adrenaline rush, the panic.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh my goodness. I was learning everything on the go. Like when you guys went to ad breaks.
You are sick.
Learning how to put things in like banners at the bottom of the screen. And I was like, let's not go to break because I don't know how to do that.
Let's make this a 2-hour segment, y'all.
No stops. Just keep on going right on through.
Yeah. So what time did he eventually get here?
I think
show
it was
starts
about
at 6 o'clock Central.
I think it was about 30 or 40 minutes in, I feel like. Maybe closer to 30. But it was, it felt like hours. Yeah. Every minute was an eternity. It was so much fun.
Oh, man. And this is not, however, the only job, working in this building at the Blaze that you've had. You worked at a water park?
I did, in my youth.
What's a Christian-based water park? What does that mean?
That's a great question. So whenever I say this story, I say almost all the time accidentally, a Christian-themed water park, which doesn't really go well.
I just don't know how that works.
It's a Christian-based water park.
Here locally in Texas?
Yes. And so...
who is that?
I'm not going to say the name, but it was, I mean, I'm still confused about it to this day.
Is there just one or is there a whole bunch of them?
I'm thinking there's a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to get too specific.
I'm mouthing the name of the park.
Not that one.
No,
not that
wow,
one.
Then I have no
Try
idea what
again.
you're talking about.
Okay, good.
No,
The more
good.
anonymous, the better. But so I worked there during college, and I'd come home for the summer, and I'd be working at a water park. And you open the water park and you close the water park. So these were like 12-hour shifts every single day.
Oh, out in the sun?
Monday, like 7 days a week. We didn't even get Sundays off. 7 days a week.
I thought you said it was a Christian base. So it was obviously not a water park run by Chick-fil-A.
Which leads to more confusion, doesn't it? And so by the end of the summer, all these college kids would be heading back to campus early. And I was one of the stragglers who would just like go there like the weekend before school started. And so I would end up rotating around the park doing all the jobs. So I would work in the kitchen. I would make food. I would take tickets. I would do customer service. I was like a manager. And then I was also like an interim lifeguard with no lifeguard training. So then I would just send kids down the slide.
No.
I would send kids down these slides and I'd be like, please stand up at the end. Just please stand up. Please just stand up in the water. You're not drowning. It's okay. You're going to be fine. And so, yeah, that was a incredible 3 summers that happened for.
Did you ever have to save anybody's life without any training?
I think one time, and I radioed for help as far as, as I could, as fast as I could. And thankfully someone else was relatively close to me that could actually do something worth noting.
So You've literally had someone's life in your hands with no training whatsoever.
If I'm the one with the life, like your life in my hands,
it's
not looking good.
Odds are not in your favor.
It's not going to be good. No, but yeah, that was fun, and everyone was a little bit younger than us. So there was about like 4 managers, and we were all like dumb college kids, and everyone below us was like 16 years old. This was their first job. No one knew how to count. So like doing money.
Yeah, first of all, I've been there. So I mean, I'm there every day, but go ahead.
None of these kids could count money. None of these kids could give change back.
Oh, that is the plague right there. That's what has fallen onto our society, where a cash register has to tell you what to do.
So you can imagine our trouble when the power system went out for the credit card machines for like several weeks at a time. We forgot to pay the water bill one month, which leads to a lot of trouble when you run a water park. Believe it or not.
Oh, man.
And I actually spent the night there twice because there was a string of what we thought were robberies going on. And so the owner was like,
that's a nice setup. First of all, that plague of not being able to count change and all that stuff, that extends all over the place. Not just teenagers at a water park. I've had that experience recently at a Burger King drive-thru where the lady said that the cash register, like the power was out or something. I don't know.
Oh, I saw your Twitter video.
Yeah, so I said, hey, we can figure this out. Just leave more cash than you need.
How about just take this as a tip? And whatever the difference is, just take it.
And you can smell through the open window of the drive-thru the flame-broiled burgers that are calling my name. I want one of those.
The Impossible Burger?
Nuts. No.
The Impossible Burger, fight me on this, is better than their burger.
I will fight you on this because it tastes different and I don't like it.
It tastes better.
You accept it like for 3 bites and then you go, wait, something's not computing with my brain. That the signal is getting interrupted and I'm going to pass.
I want to have a little mystery to what I'm eating.
Oh, gosh. Weirdo. Anyway, if you have me take that test, like a blindfold test of the Impossible Burger and the Whopper, I assure you I will pick out the difference. And
I might have to try that out.
Let's do that. That's good. Okay, so anyhow.
Yeah, kids can't count.
So I love how you set up that story. We thought we were dealing with burglaries. What happened?
So there was, again, I was leading a group of a lot of young kids, and they were very terrified that there was a ghost at the park.
Oh, no.
Because we would have a lot of radio interference, and
I'm listening. I'm rolling my eyes, but I'm listening.
Right. And then kids would complain because we had to clear the park every night. So the managers would start at the very end of the park, and we'd walk through the entirety of it to make sure every kid and every parent were out of the park before we closed the gates. And there'd always be like this one area of the park where the lifeguard would have to jump in. It would be the end of the day, sun's going down. It's no longer really hot, so you can't dry off as fast. They'd have to jump in because they'd see a little kid go into the water and not come up.
Oh, like an aberration or something?
Yeah, apparently.
No way.
And so these lifeguards were getting upset because they're like, I jumped in and there's no kid in there, and now I'm soaking wet and I have to drive home. And so this was happening like every evening.
Well, that also had to terrify y'all that kid is somewhere beneath the water out there.
Exactly. And that's what led us to be like, okay, something is going on. And we had to like do multiple clearings of the parks every single night to make sure that everyone was out because we were like terrified.
And is it after dark then?
So the sun was going down at these points. And so, or some kids would see like a little, I think it was a little girl in the park. And then we'd have to go back and start our whole clearing process over again to make sure no children were in the park.
And was there ever a child in the park?
There was never a child in the park, which made it super annoying because it pushed everything back like a whole hour and a half to getting home after you've already worked a 12-hour shift.
You're probably exhausted at that point.
In the hot sun. Yeah. Working in the kitchen. There was no air conditioning. So you're in 109-degree heat in Texas summer in a building with a pizza oven in it.
And you're looking for a kid that doesn't exist.
Yeah. So we had to spend the night 2 times in the park. And let me tell you, if you've never slept overnight at a water park at the top of a tube slide, you haven't lived.
Now, are you sleeping on a cot or?
We brought sleeping bags out. And then, here was the catch. Okay. So the owner was very adamant that we catch these people. And I was like, well, can we bring...
Wait, catch these people. Hold on.
Yes.
So is stuff missing now? Or
right.
are we still connected? It's a separate story than the kids.
This all connects.
Okay.
So we would come in the morning and we'd go into the kitchen and somebody would have made a pizza. Full on made a pizza and left everything out on the counters. So we started yelling at these poor kids.
That's just me at my house.
Right? We started yelling at these poor kids because we're like, we cleared this kitchen last night. Everything was put away.
Wow.
Why are you guys leaving stuff out? And so these poor kids would have to be like, we're putting stuff away. We're cleaning everything. Like, I don't understand what's happening. So that led the owner to think that somebody was breaking in, potentially making a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And going to eventually
When
rob.
I got to have a pizza, I'm going to a water park at 2 a.m.
Right. And so that led us to staying the night, attempting to catch the pizza
And how
burglars.
many people are staying the night during one of these
It was 3 girls.
stakeouts?
So it was me and 2 other girls.
Okay, I'm going to play dude for a second.
Okay, yeah. No, I understand. I understand the plot
Where
holes.
are the guys volunteering? I'll take care of this. The girls are having to stake out?
Yeah, and I was like, can we bring protection? And they were like, absolutely not.
As in a firearm?
In something, a Nerf gun.
A Nerf gun,
a wiffle ball, anything. No, can't do that.
What?
And they said,
hold on, if you saw someone, what did they want you to do?
So here was the action plan. Here's the go plan. Okay. Here's the hypothetical. We see people breaking in.
If you see someone breaking in.
We call the owner who lives, get this.
No, don't say.
2 hours away.
Unreal.
And we let him know.
Okay.
That someone is currently breaking into the park.
Not the police.
And then the go plan is to run from the very top of this tube slide at the water park down. We don't have keys for the fence to the water park. So we have to practice before closing a couple nights, running from the top of the tube slide down to the fence, hurling ourselves over a 7-foot fence.
No.
And getting to our cars.
No. This is the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard.
And then we
would wasn't connected to the federal government, but go ahead.
We would wait in our cars until the owner arrived. And then here was the best part. He said, I'm not going to because it was a small town, so there's a local police department. And we're like, can you let them know that, we're going to be staying here so that way when they patrol the empty parking lots at night, they don't think that we're the people that we're trying to catch.
What is happening?
And they were like, no. So every time the cop cars came, we had to hide in the slides.
I don't understand this plan at all.
It was what could go wrong?
Did the owner think that the bad guys would be there 2 hours later?
I guess. I mean, I
This
have
is
no idea
stupid.
what was going to go on. But
I'm glad you didn't say the name of this place because this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's honestly the best thing that you could be a part of as a kid, like as a stupid college kid, just being like, I don't have anything better to do on a Thursday night. Let's do this. And then you're just staying there. And the funniest thing is you work at this park all day long, every day. And you're so used to hearing the sound of children and water splashing.
Oh, kind of gets
that
creepy then.
Your brain counteracts that in the middle of the night. So when you're walking around at night, your brain automatically gives you sensories that makes it feel like you're hearing water running and kids playing, even though everything's shut down and the water's off.
Been there. When I was 14, I worked at a miniature golf course.
Uh-oh.
And I worked primarily indoors where the video games were constantly cycling through.
Nice.
And you try to sleep at night, you just hear that entire...
Wait, you were sleeping on the job?
No, I'm sleeping at night in my bed.
I'm tracking.
and hearing all of these games cycle through.
Pac-Man in the background. And you're just trying to get into REM sleep.
Yeah, it was not fun. So, it's not Pac-Man. It's not like music and stuff only.
Yeah.
It's narration of like reality games and stuff.
No.
Oh, it was, oh gosh.
Oh, gosh.
I remember this like Old West shoot 'em up game where you'd stand there. And anyway, so this old country prospector guy would give you the whole lowdown, and you just lay in bed at night thinking, yes, okay, and then the saloon is where okay, I got it. Anyway, so did you catch anybody?
No, but some crazy stuff happened.
Under your nose? Did someone make a pizza while you guys were camped out?
No, but we were in the office because we heard people outside the front gates. And we were like, this is it. This is what we've been trained for. This is what all those hours of
Ladies,
pizza
grab
making.
just get ready to run.
Let's go. So that was our plan. We were getting ready to run, and we were kind of, we had gone into the front office. And so we were like, how do we get out from here? This was not our plan. We don't have a plan to run from here. And so we hear people outside the front door, kind of where you're getting tickets. And we look on the motion cameras, and all the motion cameras for all the entire park are going off. Like they're lighting up, detecting motion, and there's nobody outside. And so after that, we were like, yeah, we're going home. Like, we don't want to do this anymore.
Wow. So did we conclude they were ghosts or people?
I have no idea.
Bum, bum, bum.
I have no idea. But
So did that experience at that water park with these unexplained occurrences with, the children appearing and disappearing after closing time, the voices at the gate and the motion sensors going off and y'all not seeing anyone, has that affected your take on ghosts, on whether or not they exist? And if so, which side do you come down on?
No, I think it's just affected my viewpoint on small water parks.
That was a boring answer. Thought there'd be more to it than that.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of other things that happened that summer. But
at that water park?
At that water park.
Is it built? What is this, like Poltergeist water park? Is it built on a...
It was built on... Because I'm very skeptical.
On a cemetery.
I'm very skeptical. But it was built on top of an old trailer park.
I could have sworn that sentence was going to end with Indian burial ground, but
and,
continue.
There was a police officer that was hired to do security for a private event at the park. And he had told us some stories. And then after that, I was like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good thing I'm done with this park after this summer.
When you were in college, you were a head writer for a comedy show?
I was.
What's that all
Late
about?
night at North Texas. It was...
Are these videos or audio? What are we talking about? Are they on the internet?
No, it was a full show. We did, I think...
Where was it broadcast? Like, was it on live or what?
Yeah, so it was just kind of like channel that our college had.
So it was a campus TV channel?
Yes, and then
Okay.
it was streamed separately on a different video platform as well. But we did about like 6 episodes a semester, and that was pretty cool. I mean, it pales in comparison to what we do here every single day, but I
want to see some of these videos.
Let's not. No.
What? You were the head writer. You're not proud of that time?
I was. It was a heck of a time. And we would do man on the street stuff where we would go interview people outside of the bars in Denton. And we would ask them questions like, do you have any pets? And they'd be like, you're racist. And we were like, all right, next person. And it was a bunch of fun. It was a bunch of fun. We traveled to do a sketch That was kind of based off of the Blair Witch Project kind of style sketch. So we traveled to a camp called Camp Cop Ass.
I'm sorry?
Yep. I think the whole point was to spell compass, but they forgot the M, so it just spelled cop ass, and it was a Christian park.
Oh, no. What?
It was a Christian camp, and one of the writers worked there, and so we were like, we need to utilize this place, and so there was a lot of jokes made about that. But,
I bet there were.
it was a heck of a time.
So do you think that these comedy shows that you were such a large part of, do you think they would hold up today? I mean, granted, you were only in college a few years ago, and do you think 20 years from now, how would
20
they...
years from now? I think it'll still be funny to look back on. I think some of the jokes would still land.
Okay, that's good. Because one of the things I've mentioned on this podcast before with the previous guest was that my radio shows that I did in college that I was so proud of and thought were so good, right? Me and a friend of mine did this show. And I recently found those cassette tapes, played them in front of my kids, and that was a big mistake because they rightfully mocked me mercilessly because those shows were absolutely terrible. I was terrible. And I'm not saying that I've improved from 20 years ago. Or 20.
Wow, how many years?
22. I graduated in 98.
I'm 24, Keith.
Okay, so
that's just for reference.
So when you were 2 years old, I graduated from college. So
what was that like?
I'm saying that I thought those were so great at the time. Again, not saying that I've improved, but I know for a fact that those shows live in my head as much greater masterpieces than they turned out to be.
I can resonate with that.
So
I think it'll probably be better in my head.
You might get to that point where if you have access to those tapes, this is before there was a digital age. I mean, we had the internet, but it was
there cell phones?
Very rudimentary, barely.
Did you have a beeper?
Barely. I did not ever have a beeper. I knew plenty of people who did.
You weren't cool then?
I have never been cool. Correct. But, see, that's the problem with the digital age is that this stuff, it lives out there forever somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I have a cassette tape. I have just cassette tapes of my show that I could destroy if I wanted to, and I guarantee you that's the only record of them.
What's a cassette tape?
I will... Woman? So, anyhow... So good luck. I hope that they do stand the test of time.
I mean,
or else,
I'm going to probably go back and look at them later on.
Destroy them.
And immediately request deletion.
What is this other job? Gym receptionist.
I was a receptionist at a gym, Keith. Thought it was kind of self-explanatory. No, that was my first job. It was very funny because part of my job was to explain how to use the gym equipment. And I don't know if you've ever... I'm not athletic at all. So I made up a lot of the instructions.
People could have gotten injured on stuff you told them.
Not the way I was describing. I was just like, this works like this. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then it was...
Did anyone ever come up to you later and be like, I don't think that that's the right way to do that?
No, because I was a young, impressionable 16-year-old. And so everyone was kind of very nice to me. And so I could be like, this is how you use this weightlifting machine.
Weightlifting machine. Well, and your instructions sound very specific too. So that's
just
good.
Lift and then breathe out.
You're not married. Do you have a love interest that you would care to discuss here on the podcast?
You're not putting this in. You're going to edit this.
I'm just asking if there is a love interest that you would like to discuss on the podcast.
My gosh.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm a very private person, Keith. And no, I'm not married. I'd be the meanest wife ever.
Why do you say that? I'm not saying that it's inaccurate because it probably is.
Have you met me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm a gem. I'm an absolute delight. I think you and Chad Prather would probably really attest to that.
Oh, sure. So let's see. If you ever have downtime, because I know you stay very busy.
I do.
What do you do?
What are the options?
Again, let's just say if you had downtime, what would you do with it?
Well,
I love your response on the email that I printed up and then promptly threw away.
Yep.
Sorry about that. You typed, not sure what that phrase, quote, downtime means.
It's very confusing to me. I'm not too sure. I can give answers based on what I think downtime is.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I've wanted to learn this forever.
Oh, I know where you're going here.
Counting cards for blackjack. I can't.
So back when we were in quarantine, assuming that whenever
way,
this airs,
we
are out of quarantine. But before we could no longer or go outside, I had always wanted to learn how to count cards. And I was like, I have a bunch of time on my hands now. I'm going to just learn. And so I watched a few YouTube videos. And at the time of this podcast, if WinStar Casino has opened up, chances are I've been there. And I will go
Good for you.
attempt to count some cards,
let
which
me
is
know how
not
that works out.
illegal, I will say. It is
How
not
could
illegal.
it be?
It is frowned upon,
Sure.
but not illegal.
But how can they tell?
If you are in groups, I think it's a little bit easier to tell. But if you're solo, you could just be like, they could just think that you're really concentrating.
I want to know how that works out.
I'm dead serious. I will be trying it just to see how it goes, because the process of it is very simple. You just have to be fast at actually adding numbers. But the whole thing is, it's like
I'm out.
It's a basis of like -1, 0, and 1. So that's the only numbers that you're adding together, right? You're only ever to the whole card counting total. You're either taking away 1, adding 1, or adding 0.
All right,
And
Okay.
so as the cards are dishing out to everyone, including the dealer, you're counting every single card to keep a running tally.
I see.
And then can decide what is left in the shoe at the table.
Interesting. Very good. Isn't YouTube great?
It is.
It's like a grandfather that knows everything. You just have to take
and
a
can
moment
explain
to,
it in 2 minutes.
Right. You just have to take some time to watch it. Yeah. Right. It's got to be a quick video. I'm not hanging around for a 10-minute explanation.
I'm not hanging around for a 4-minute explanation.
Thank you.
I need 60 seconds or less.
If
just
you
go
can't-
over the details
If
of
you
it.
can't explain it to me in 2 minutes
I
or
don't wanna
less,
know it.
then I'm going to hire someone to do it.
Right?
Right? Okay. I think
That's
fair.
my whole life motto.
See, you're sitting here telling this story about counting cards and blackjack and all this stuff. And
Not illegal.
Right. Every time the game of blackjack comes up, I have this wave of bitterness flash over me where the Aladdin Casino in Las Vegas owes me about, I think it was $20 that I should have won at a table because I won the round, right? And the lady's gathering up the cards, and even the guy who was at the table with Carrie and I was looking over like, hey, he just, you should be paying him out. Nope, I had whatever it was.
Do you want to call them out now on the podcast?
I should have called for the video, which I learned later you could do.
Yeah, you could call for the video.
I should have done that.
Man,
but
come
I
on,
didn't.
Keith.
It was $20. If it had been, and granted, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, especially because I was 25 years old.
How long ago was that?
Not answering that question.
Okay.
It was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have hair then?
That's the same trip where I played a 13-team parlay, and you put down $5, and if you get all 13, and these were straight up winners. This was so weird thinking about this again. It was straight up winners. It wasn't point spread. It was the first week of college football in 2001, so it was 3 days before 9/11.
2001.
Yeah, I was 25. That's right. Do the math now.
Yikes.
So anyhow, I got the first 11 games right.
What?
I could win $32,000. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Following.
So, okay. I needed 2 games. The last 2 games, anyhow, I won't bore you with the last 2 games, but we were there for my stepbrother's wedding, and it was a wedding reception night that Saturday night. And I'm standing in the hallway, halfway paying attention to all the speeches and all that stuff at the reception, halfway watching these games on these monitors on the hallway, and I get one game wrong. It was close. It came down to like an onside kick, and so that I could still win $300 if I got 12 right.
That's not bad.
And then the last game, I got wrong, wasn't even close, whatever, and I ended up winning $32.
So have you just been chasing that
$32.
2001 high ever since?
Yeah, pretty
19
much.
years.
Yeah, if I lived closer to a casino than we do here in Dallas, which is a couple hours, about an hour or so away. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd
I feel
be
like
bad.
it's kind of easy once you get the hang of it, because everything else is just based on luck. Everything else is like throw this die, spin this wheel. Blackjack is kind of the only thing that you could actually put some strategy behind.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, poker, I guess, right?
Poker,
yeah,
but,
I'm not good at that at all. Okay, so what are some books you've been reading lately? Because you also say, downtime you like to read books.
Yeah, I've been listening to so many audiobooks. I've been listening.
Does that count?
I think it does.
Does it?
Because you still obtain the knowledge of the book.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But if it's a really interesting book, I'll actually buy the paperback or the hardback and read it.
Okay, so what are some books you've been reading lately, and which do you really enjoy?
Oh my gosh. Anything by Annie Jacobson, I love. And she's very knowledgeable. She does a lot of research on like the Nazis that came to America after World War II.
Stuff, huh?
Yes. Nazis that came to America after World War II and helped build our space program. So if you've never heard of that,
wow.
We give a lot of prestigious awards in the scientific community that are named after Nazis.
Oh, no.
That not a lot of people know about. She also has another good book that I read called Surprise, Kill, Vanish.
I'm seeing that right now on Amazon.
And it's about the execution teams that each president gets to have and what they're named by. And their job is to eliminate targets without it being illegal. Those kind of books, spy novels, thrillers.
Wow.
I love it.
Okay, very good. Very good. You're trying to learn Yiddish?
I want to just learn obscure languages because a lot of people look at me and they're like, you must know Spanish. And I'm like, I won't say my answer here. But
wait, with a last name of Ortiz?
I want to throw people off. Yeah. I want to give people a run for their money. So whenever people are like, do you know Spanish? I'm going to be like, no, I know Yiddish though, or Russian. I can help you with that.
Good luck with that. That's
I've
awesome.
actually learned like some like one-off phrases in Yiddish and Russian that I can tell people when they ask me if I speak Spanish.
So you grew up with a blind 17-year-old Yorkie?
Yeah, he's still kicking.
Has he been blind for 17 years or just recently?
He's been blind for like 5 or 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's he get around very well?
He uses a stick.
Does he?
Yeah.
He kind of lean like a cane?
Yeah.
With one of his paws?
Yep. Has a little tennis ball at the end.
Oh, be darned.
He's very versatile.
I'd kind of like to see that. Bring him up here sometime. What's his name?
Little Dickens.
Lil Dickens.
Like the...
L-I-L?
Yeah.
Apostrophe after the last L, correct?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's spelled incorrectly, I would contend.
Right.
I took care of a neighbor's dog that hung on for a very long time that was also blind. It was so sad. And she'd bump into the wall, and you'd be like, no, come on now. Let's go.
My favorite is you'll go into the kitchen. He lives with my parents, and he doesn't live on his own. But you'll go into the kitchen. Please edit that joke out. That was so stupid.
Go ahead. I didn't. It was so stupid. I didn't even pick it up. I'm still rewinding it in my brain. He lives on his own, or he does not live on his own.
I said he lives with my parents.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyway.
So what happened? Did his little cane get hung up somewhere?
Yeah. So you'll go into the kitchen and he'll just be staring at the wall, acting like he's a part of the conversation or a part of the camaraderie in the house. And so you'll have to like pick him up and like lead him back to the couch. Or
like
something.
If everyone's standing in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah, he's facing the nearest wall, like acting like he is a part of everything.
Is he deaf too?
No, he just chooses to not listen, which is a difference. Selective hearing.
Got it. Talk about some of your favorite music.
I'm huge into David Bowie. I love David Bowie. This is how my 2019 year went. New Year's Eve, I made a list of resolutions. Mm-hmm. His album Black Star had just come out. There was rumors of a concert tour. I was like, no matter how much these cost, I will go. Actually, 2018.
Thank you. Okay, I was doing the math there.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So we're going from 18 into 19.
Correct.
Okay.
No. Yeah. 17 into 18.
17 into 18.
Sorry. Correction.
Sold.
And I was like, no matter how much these tickets cost, I will go see David Bowie. A couple days later, he dies. So that's how my luck pans out. But anything David Bowie, I absolutely love and adore.
Yeah, you showed the rest of us that he actually recorded some stuff here on our campus.
And it was the studio that Chad used to be in.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so cool to walk into that studio every single day and be like, David Bowie got to record here. And there's actually a leaked audio MP3 online of the lost recordings of David Bowie at Las Colinas Studios that are incredible and so cool to listen to, especially when you like worked in the same room. But yeah, I love Beastie Boys is another one. I have very strange musical preferences.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Italian rap is.
Italian rap. It is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's very intense. And those arenas are sold out like crazy for an Italian rap concert. There's an artist named Fede, Fedez.
Is that a bad word in
No,
Italian?
that's just his first name.
Okay.
But that's a bop. All those songs are
What does
great.
that mean? That's a bop.
It's a good, like you bop your head to it. It's a bop.
Is that a phrase that like young people use? That's a bop?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you should do an episode where we go over slang.
Maybe.
But yeah, Beastie Boys, Italian rap. I love classical music.
What are some? Well, that is, you definitely run the gamut.
Thank
what are some slang words that would make me hip? That phrases or something.
Tea.
Tea, like
Yeah,
just the
tea.
letter T.
No, like tea the drink. So
T-E-A?
yeah, so when you and Pat are talking about a certain politician,
Okay.
you could say, try this tomorrow. You could be like, hey Pat, let's spill the tea on insert politician's name here, and that means like share the gossip. Spilling the tea.
Okay.
I think you should really utilize that one.
I did not write that one down. I will be honest with you. Give me some other options here.
You can add the word sister in front of a lot of things, and it could be turned very hip. You should probably ask your daughters about this.
Oh,
I feel like they would.
sister, what are you doing?
Like sister smash,
Oh,
sister bop. Like you could just add it in front of anything, and people will just automatically think that you are like of heightened sophistication. And
give me one
popularity.
more option here. You're 0 for 2.
Okay. So another slang word, can't relate. So one time Chad said that he got off the airplane and he went and they pull like his car up at the gate when he exits, when you go past out, get your baggage, everything.
Yeah.
His car's there. And I said, wow, can't relate.
Can't relate
You
on
could just
being picked up at an airport. Yeah.
But you could do it about measly things too. You could someone's like, oh, I got to go like to Walmart after work. And you're like, can't relate. Don't go there. Don't shop there. Can't relate.
Okay.
Don't know her.
No. So it could work anywhere
It can
on the
work
spectrum.
either way.
Gotcha. All right. Last song you played on repeat was Tom Petty's American Girl. That's a good choice.
Tom Petty. We all love a good Tom Petty song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Absolutely. Full Moon Fever.
Unless he's come back alive since we taped this podcast. In that case, welcome back.
Not going to be edited out for your benefit. Okay, let's see
you
here.
said keep it relevant. Okay, I just want to keep all the options open.
That's that would be good if that happened. I think.
At this point, though, in 2020, at this point,
nothing is beyond the realm of possibilities.
Tom Petty coming back to life would not make headlines. Like that would be like.
No kidding. That would be on page 812.
That would be on like delisted, like the 4th page in, or like the New York Post.
And before we go, Tom Petty has been resurrected. We'll see you tomorrow.
And everyone's like, okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
That guy.
When's lockdown over? Okay. What are some interesting talents you have? Accents, and you said you will not be doing these on the podcast.
I will not. But when I was in high school, I used to do a decently good Russian accent.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And nope.
I won't look at you while you do it.
But I will say I have a British accent that I can do. And there is someone who works at this office who's Scottish. And I have talked to him in the British accent, and I've gotten the seal of approval from him.
All right.
So I want to say that is as close as I can get to being legitimized in the British community.
Brits have a community?
But I used to do a Russian accent whenever we would have substitutes, and then the substitutes would get very confused as to why they didn't have a separate like worksheet for me printed in Russian.
So you were a troublemaker in school.
We could say that at the very least.
Mm-hmm. What's something people don't know about you?
You're going to have to edit this long pause out.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in here. Do you want me to read your answer? Or do you know it?
What was my answer? I only wrote these last night at
I was just about to
o'clock.
say, it's not like you got these weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm an enigma. Let's leave it at that. Wow, that's...
I stand by that answer.
Okay, earliest memory?
Probably family road trips. Those were always super fun.
I was about to say, if you don't remember this answer from last night...
That was a stretch.
Yeah, you drove everywhere as a kid, huh?
Yeah, we would do like 14-hour road trips. We still do as a family, 14-hour road trips.
That was a big deal
Yeah.
when I would fly as a kid.
And my favorite thing was it would be my mom, my dad, and me, And I would always be the one awake along with my dad who was driving. And so he would stop at a gas station at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And he would get me peanut M&Ms and a Coke. And that was like always like the best part of road trips. Because then cool. It would just be like 2 a.m. at a random gas station on like Route 66.
And you would make these 14-hour road trips straight through, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did not stop for anything. And we'd go camping or... we're really big into outdoor sports, so I did like a lot of kayaking growing up. I did figure skating, snowboarding. I'm a big skeet shooter back in the day, archery.
Good for you. All right. Do you not get to do that stuff anymore?
Not anymore. Not since I don't know what downtime is anymore.
That's true. Yeah. You have a couple of answers as far as the people who have impacted your life the most. Let's start with your parents.
Yeah.
How so?
I think just the way they raised me. I think... big fan of it. Loved their work.
Did they learn from their mistakes from 18 years previous with your older sister? And by the way, are you close with your older sister at all, or how's that work?
I introduced myself a couple years ago. We'll see if I hear back. I'm kidding. We're very close. The 18 years difference was really good because we skipped over all the nonsensical things of growing up with a sibling. Yeah. We never fought over which room, who got which room. Yeah. We never fought over clothes or friends, and so we got to skip all that and just become best friends. So that was really. Cool. I hope she doesn't listen to this because then all of that is false and untrue, and this has been edited to say that.
She would be old enough to be your mom, quite frankly.
She is. A lot of the times that's mistaken. And I play into it when we go to the store together. That's and awesome. People assume that.
Because 18 years difference, That's what does she do then? Is she completely different than you? Do you guys have any similarities whatsoever?
Completely different.
Wow.
Just the polar opposite of me. And she is a dental hygienist. Okay. So her life has been very interesting during the corona time.
I bet so. The other folks that have made a big impact on your life are, quote, the people who make bread at the Fort Worth Central Market.
Yeah. They've seen me go through a lot because they know when I go up there and I pick like a whole sourdough loaf of bread, they know I'm not sharing that with anyone. Like, they see me at my worst, right? I don't have a wedding ring on my finger. They know I'm going home and eating that loaf of bread by myself.
That's my meal. Don't judge me.
That they know. They know. And they just see, I can see it in their eyes that they're like, she's back.
So, all right. So you're saying that staying at Texas A&M would have been a mistake or just a different path? Or?
Completely different path. Like, I would not be in this room. There's no way that I would have made it back to, or even to
and
the
that's
Blaze.
A good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Being in this room. Just making sure.
I mean,
you don't consider this like, oh my gosh, I ended up in this room. Whereas if I stayed at Texas A&M, I would never have to do this stupid podcast.
I would say in the building as a whole,
I got it.
This particular studio at this particular moment, I would say is not
example.
included.
Right.
But example. Yeah, had I stayed at A&M, I would have been a completely different person. I would have gone down a completely different path. And
how did you almost work in Austin?
So there's a television festival down there, and they needed someone to help booking who was going to be going in between California and Austin to book people for this television festival. And I had an interview with them.
Oh, wow.
The Friday before I had an interview at the Blaze. So,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And did they call back and say, hey, we want you, or?
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to stay in Dallas.
Wow.
That was like the difference between Friday and Monday. So.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And what was the job that initially got you into the door here at the Blaze?
Well, media producing for Pat Gray, right?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I started out as. Back in the day when I was an intern, I worked on Think Tank. And it was kind of funny because before a lot of things happened, like at college and obviously just in like the industry in general, in between then, but after I was going to intern, or after I finished my first internship, I was going to come back and intern on the radio side.
Oh, wow.
The summer after. And so a lot of things happened in between that, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
You don't want to tell us about your most embarrassing moment?
Correct, because it was very recent, and I'm still processing.
Uh-oh. Was it in this building?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. All right. Because I'm just saying, if it was work-related, then I have no idea what it is. But
Right.
then you'd have to pass the people every day that were involved in it. But that's a good thing that it wasn't in here.
Thank goodness.
You're right?
no.
Right. Okay. Very
Right.
good.
Don't get me wrong. I've done my share of embarrassing things in this office.
True.
Like walking into a glass wall
Whoa.
in front of several people who have been sworn to secrecy.
Wow.
So...
My goodness. Did you injure yourself? Because I would have probably just bled out right there if something like that happened to me.
Well, it happened twice. The first time, I just ran into the glass by myself.
Ran or walked into
Walked
it?
into the
Okay.
glass, more like. Second time, had a coffee cup in my hand, spilled coffee on myself.
Oh, no.
Then had to go back and clean it up.
Oh,
So it was-
no.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Your second most embarrassing moment involves a song by Eminem.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I don't know why these are all high school stories, but anyway, it was very
That's
traumatic.
because you're 24? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
yeah.
You're 24 years old. I mean, that's pretty recent.
Yeah. So the principal asked me to welcome the new class of freshmen because I was student body president. And I was like, sure, here's a good idea. Let me throw this at you. I rewrite Eminem's Lose Yourself for these kids, and I rap it. And
So you had time to think this through.
thought was put into this, which just
Ooh.
makes me ashamed.
Right.
more
That's what I'm
so.
saying. It wasn't like a spur of the moment thing. You actually processed this before doing it.
I wrote out lyrics, and thank God there was not phones allowed because
Oh, wow.
wow,
That would be out there.
if that
See what I
video-
mean? This is what I was talking about earlier in the podcast.
right?
This is where your life is being archived everywhere.
Thank goodness I'm so mysterious and aloof with social media and whatnots.
You would like to start your own podcast.
I would, and it's
What
gonna.
would it be based on?
It's just gonna be people coming on and reviewing pencil erasers, just all different types of pencil erasers, and which kind of mechanical pencil they trust the most, because I feel like that says a lot about a person.
I mean, there could be a niche market. I mean, I would at least give it an episode and give it a shot. I'm interested in erasers because some erasers, I will say, are more effective than others, whereas some, it doesn't take any time at all before they become really hardened and
Gross.
old school, nasty. You know,
Yeah.
they don't erase; they just streak.
And it can branch off into like pencil and pen products, because it says a lot about a person if you come at me with like a Bic mechanical pencil versus a Papermate, like one of which I'm not talking to you.
Wow, which
know.
one? Who do you?
Papermate always.
You align with
and
the Papermate.
Pilot number 7 pens. Oh my gosh!
So
Don't
I
even
can-
come at me with a different kind of pencil.
Thank you. Right, and number 2, pencils
Yeah. Oh.
are far and away
yeah.
superior.
I don't even recognize another number. It does not exist. But no, in all seriousness, I want to do kind of like a scripted podcast.
Help me understand.
I
what
want
you
to
mean.
do like, remember Serial, which was arguably like the big podcast that came out where it was like a murder mystery. She like started investigating this old cold case and actually got it reopened. And that was kind of like the first big podcast.
And it's called Serial.
Serial. It was huge. And
Serial.
yes. And that was kind of like the first mainstream podcast where people were like, wait, this could be its own industry, because I want to do something like that. I want to do like an investigative podcast.
And you also want to write something of lasting impact or value.
Yeah.
Like what kind of topic are you talking about?
I don't know. I just want to write something, whether that's like a book or I don't even know. And I want to take down the Church of Scientology. Can I say that here? I just did. Please edit that out.
You want to take down the Church of Scientology?
Yes.
How would you go about doing that?
So, okay, I've shared this plan with several people in this building who've advised me not to do this plan. But I'm a woman who does not take no for an answer.
Uh-oh.
So there is a Church of Scientology location
Like
5 minutes down the road.
I was going to say, less than 2 miles from here.
Yeah, so I go
Jeffy and
in.
I have threatened to go there all the time and watch their little propaganda video as long as we
Okay.
remain tied to a running vehicle in the parking lot.
And who offered to go with you?
You did.
Thank you. So I go. I see the infomercial video. I say, I want to know more.
Okay.
And then I sign up with a fake name. And then I get in. I work my way up. I go up the bridge of clearance. What do they call it?
I don't
The
know.
Bridge of Enlightenment.
Sure. Okay.
I'm going to need some money. So if someone wants to do a GoFundMe so that I could afford the books and tapes of L. Ron Hubbard.
Keep talking. I got a plan for you, but go ahead.
I already have the Book of Dianetics. I just need all the other ones. And And then, bust it up from the inside out.
And would you have recording equipment on you?
Of course, at all times. I would have like hidden cameras. I'd be wired.
This is your podcast.
Yes. So I either
this is what you do.
Yeah. So you'll either hear from me in a few years as the person who took down the Church of Scientology or the person who found Jimmy Hoffa's body. Which one comes first, I will leave for a mystery, but both are in the works.
But what if you don't make it out of there alive? Will your stuff be automatically uploading to a cloud somewhere?
Yeah, I'll die honorably.
And so there we've come full circle. Not only do you have your podcast, really it sounds more like a YouTube channel. There's a video involved, right?
Maybe.
But it's also, you would have done something of lasting impact or value, but you'd be you wouldn't be forgotten.
Whether Tom Cruise would agree with that, I'm not too sure.
Whether you make it out alive or not, at least this stuff would be documented automatically for you.
And you have a good old time.
Good, very good. And I will not be editing any of that out.
Oh. No.
You have any regrets at your young age of 24?
Just the last 50 minutes.
Very good.
Everything I just said.
Why do you want to travel to Russia? Is that so you could try out that Russian accent and see if it works?
That, and I've always wanted to go to Russia. Like, people, whenever I say that to people are like, that is ridiculous. That's insane. I've been told by loved ones that they will not let me go. And I'm like, watch me. But something about having to, like, book a plane ticket and also buy K&R insurance, which is kidnap and ransom insurance, just, like... tickles my heart.
You might need that before you go to the Scientology place.
I think it's a worthwhile adventure. And, I want to be the person, like, this was my original goal, but there's no, like, career path for this, of, like, being the one to infiltrate different cults and understand why people believe what they do.
I would say that'd make a good podcast theme.
Right?
However, they might start realizing who you are.
Not if you just bulk and then bulk release it.
Yeah, there you go.
And be like, remember that chick who got really good at the Branch Davidian stuff? She was recording it all.
The problem is someone else exposing these cults before you're able to release all your stuff.
Not all of them at one time. I'm going to hit all the cults at one time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Social media handle, is it just on Twitter?
Just on Twitter.
And I'm going to let you spell this because it's spelled so wrong.
It is spelled so wrong, but it is so right.
It is ridiculous. You're at...
Oldest millennial, but it's...
you got to spell it out.
At _... OLDSTMILENIAL. If anyone will bother to type that out, I don't know.
You've misspelled millennial. You've taken the E out of oldest.
Because as a millennial, it's my right to see letters as I see fit. And there was just too many L's, too many N's, and I was like, we need to cut this down.
So really, it's _Old Street Millennial, which is spelled wrong.
Oh, yeah. And
Old Street.
The best part is I put out decent tweets. One that I think did not get enough recognition.
Did you?
Was one that I think the animal rights activists would really love, which said, you mean to tell me the song Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy had nothing to do with animal rights?
I'm going to take your picture for the thumbnail. Be sure to smile big.
It's so bad. I don't like this at all. Oh my God.
She's hiding behind the microphone.
Not.
All right.
Thank you.
The shadow. Move the microphone out of the way.
No.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
This is so right.
All right, cool. Very good.
You.
Candice Ortiz of The Blaze. She produces Chad Prather's show, which you can find. Anything that we haven't covered you want to add here? I'll take that as a no. Thank you for spending time on At the Mic.
This has been At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production. Look for At the Mic Show on Twitter to connect.